he snapped the ball well.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a beautiful snap.
That was the best part of the play.
It was a beautiful snap. And I was really watching the snap. I was like, he's going to fuck the snap up.
Yeah.
Nope, but everything else is fucked
Well,
up.
Ezekiel Elliott says he's open to taking a pay cut. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Unrestricted, folks. Vex, glad to be back with Richard Carnahan and Bob.
Vex, good to see you. Bob, always good to see you.
It's a good week.
Is it? As a 49er fan, you are happy, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
You're gross.
I'm sorry.
Look, we'll get to your 49ers. We'll get to championship weekend.
I know we will.
Probably in the next show. This show is really dedicated to the Cowboys. Past, present, and future. Holy cow, the franchise is at an impasse thanks to really falling apart over the weekend. Richard,
Jeff,
I look back at that game, and so much that the Cowboys did, they did right. They contained CMC. They contained Deebo Samuel. Brock Purdy did not kill them.
you're talking about the first half, Jeff.
Really?
No,
the
the
entire game.
The whole game. You held an NFL professional football team to 19 points.
That's a win.
Defense, you did your job.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Defense, they played better than I thought they were going to play.
They played outstanding.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn moving Micah Parsons around from the defensive line back to a linebacker position, constantly moving him around. That worked.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah.
They did everything defensively to win that football game that they possibly could have. And yet, when I think about the flashpoints of that football game, they are all made on the offensive side of the football for the Cowboys. It was end of the second quarter, and it was end of the third quarter, entering the fourth. Into the second quarter, you get Dak throwing an inexplicably bad interception.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 49ers, Purdy makes probably his worst throw of the game, probably woulda, coulda, shoulda been picked, wasn't. It's a flashpoint. Gould gets the field goal. All of a sudden, the entire game
Did you see him
changes.
taunting?
Gould?
He was laughing at the Cowboys special teams players after he made his kick.
What?
It was awesome. When you get
It's
punked,
aggressive.
you get punked by the kicker, and it was probably to this effect. Probably wish I was on your team, eh?
When the kicker has tooed, you got issues.
And the Cowboys guys were like, yeah, you got me.
And
they weren't even mad.
You know, and that was one thing, too. It looked like definitely Marr having the yips caused them to make play calls that I was like, with a real NFL kicker, you're not making those calls.
So rewinding back to that beginning, into the second quarter, what also happened on that Cowboys drive was the Pollard injury. And let's face it, that changed the entire face of the game.
Everything.
Because as
you throw 2 picks and lose your best running back, it's going to be real hard to win.
Yeah, even holding the other team to 19 points.
Yeah.
But you and I have talked about this. We've had this conversation on this show. When the Cowboys run the football effectively, they win the football game.
Yep.
And the minute Pollard went down, it was an oh shit moment, I think, for every Cowboys fan, because we knew that Zeke couldn't carry the load, which meant Dak was going to have to. And when you're saying, Dak, please go win us this football game, that's not the position that he belongs in.
But it didn't seem to me like Moore did any real adjusting for the lack of Pollard. I mean, call more quarterback draws, call more, rollouts.
Well,
but
Dak's
it
not
didn't
fast
seem like it was
enough.
happening.
Dak looks like he can run a 5.1 40.
At this point,
And Zeke looks like he runs a 4.99.
Okay.
And that's what we had. That's what we had to do.
So let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Mr. Hey, man, I'm going to get you 2 yards every time you need 3. Right? How bad was he? Like, this is a guy whose star has fallen so far. He's a free agent coming up, and we're going to get into all of that. But, I could argue that this game against the 49ers wasn't lost over the weekend. It was lost September 3rd, 2019.
When they signed into that contract.
When they signed Ezekiel Elliott to $15 million a year.
You don't sign running backs for a ton of money, because are there special ones? Absolutely. Are there pretty good ones and you can get 2 or 3 of them? Yup. It's Moneyball.
It is.
And it was that, and I heard this coming in. They should have signed Dak to what he wanted 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Got
because
him cheaper.
it got him so much cheaper. Now they can deal him.
So I think they lost this game, not because of Dak, not because of Fat Irish Santa. I think they lost this game because of Stephen and Jerry Jones. I'll give you another date.
Okay.
I'll give you another date. March 8th, 2021. They sign Dak to $40 million a year. This game was lost on asset allocation, right? It's lost on who you're going to pay how much. If you save $20 million annually by signing Dak Prescott earlier than was necessary,
2017,
but at a cheaper rate, because remember, like, this is important to keep in mind. Dak Prescott was not the Dallas Cowboys' first overall pick. He was a fourth rounder.
yeah, and he was like their sixth favorite quarterback of the draft.
Yeah, but he was a fourth rounder that was beat by a seventh rounder.
And then they give him $40 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and instead of being able to spend that money, as, for instance, the 49ers were able to, on talent surrounding the quarterback, all of the talent has gone essentially on that side of the ball. All the resource allocation has gone to quarterback and running back and backup running back at that. I mean, Zeke is not a starter any longer.
and you ended up with musical chairs on the offensive line, which didn't allow them to do anything when Pollard went down.
Yeah. Look, I thought the offensive line actually played above their heads. Dak only was sacked one time. Now, there weren't large holes to run through, but look, the San Francisco 49ers have the number one defense for a freaking reason. Okay? It was never going to be easy. I'm going to give you one more date, and this is why I think this loss is not on Dak. It's not on McCarthy. It's on the Joneses. March 12th, 2022. Anything come to mind? So into the season last year. They trade Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much difference does having one, A++ wide receiver make in a game like that? It's all the difference in the world.
And I'm trying to figure out where to put the blame of 90 yards to CeeDee Lamb and 20 yards to everybody else on the passing stats. It's like, is that Dak just not seeing his progression, or is it more not calling a
CD
good
went
offense?
for 117 in that game. He went for 117. That is a great number.
Yeah, but every other receiver went for
nothing.
6.
Yeah,
Right.
It was, and there isn't enough support on this roster for Dak Prescott. I mean, look, he's got a hard enough time, Richard, hitting the open guy when the guy is open.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I think he's regressed. He doesn't see the field. He can't hit an open receiver. He'll try to do something special, and I think his hit ratio on special to interception is probably 60-40. 60 being interception, 40 being special.
Yeah.
And you can't win playoff games. And that's, and then they talk about Kellen Moore, and we'll talk more about Kellen Moore. I think he's gone. I think that's great. That's a blessing. Like, well, I mean, how can you get rid of a guy that had the number one offense during the regular season and the number 3 offense during the regular season? Folks, that shit doesn't matter.
I'm
Regular season doesn't matter.
I'm looking at the box score. Do you know that Pollard, who only played half the game, had more passing targets than T.Y. Hilton?
No, but I'm not surprised. What was that number? 2?
2.
Yeah.
Hilton was targeted. Well, Hilton had 1 reception. Well, I mean, 2 receptions versus 1. Actually, and Pollard had 3 targets versus T.Y. Hilton's 1. Dalton Schultz had 5 receptions for 27 yards. Noah Brown 2 for 21.
Most of Schultz's were on that final drive, and they were cheap. Okay,
They didn't
he
matter.
He was a non-factor in that game, especially coming off of what was a tremendous performance with both tight ends in the round prior against Tampa Bay. Schultz was a no-show.
Yeah, and to Richie's point, do you play to win games in the regular season, or do you play to win games in the playoffs and move to the Super Bowl?
This gets so hard, man, because I look at Buffalo right now, where they're creaming McDermott and Josh Allen. They're creaming them. Well, look, if you want to fire McDermott, he's going to get hired real quickly by somebody else again because he's a good football coach. And if Josh Allen isn't good enough to be your starting quarterback, then we're all screwed because that guy's a top 5 guy. But they went out and laid a complete dud. And I think that in football we have this, well, we lost and therefore we got to blow everything up mentality way too quickly with most teams. But not in the case of the Cowboys.
Well, the Cowboys have been sticking to the game plan for the past, since they brought Santa in. and they stuck with Red Jesus way too long too.
They did.
You can have your issues as a Cowboys fan about Jones in the front office. They don't draft bad. They draft pretty good.
They're fine.
So,
but then they
so
pay
that's
the
front
wrong
office.
people.
That's the
That
big
was the
problem.
big one.
They pay the wrong people.
But
They let good talent go.
if you expect to do different with the same stuff, Einstein's rolling over his grave and saying you're insane.
Yeah.
So you have to blow up something, and who's going to stay and who is going to leave. You can't get. I mean, I'm getting into the future. You can't get rid of Prescott. That's too much of a contract to eat. You can't get rid of Jerry Jones. He kind of owns the team.
Yeah. Until he stops pretending that he's the coach, this is it. They're not going to win.
Thank you. That is my entire premise. And I've listened to everybody this week dissect what happened to the Cowboys on Sunday. And at the end of the day, the Cowboys roster just wasn't as good as the 49ers, period. Okay? Yeah, their quarterback wasn't as good as Purdy was. That in particular makes a difference. But top to bottom, 49ers just have a better roster. They got beaten by a better team. So whose fault is it that the quarterback is eating up $40 million of cap space? It's not Dak's fault. That's on the Jones boys, okay?
Right.
That game was lost before it got played.
Well, and so there's a saying, too, in Dallas. Don't worry about he's one of Jerry's boys.
Yeah.
So there's sacred cows that can't be cut because Jerry loves them.
And Jerry loves his yes men. I mean, that's why he loved Jason Garrett. I have a bad feeling that's why he likes Fat Irish Santa currently. Like, I do not think that he's going to move on to Sean Payton. I don't think so. I think he likes having a yes man.
Would Sean Payton want to be that yes man?
I don't think he would be a yes man.
It's not his kind of thing.
That's it?
Yeah. Why would he come? I don't think so. So you're pretty much stuck with your quarterback. You're pretty much stuck with your head coach.
And you're pretty much stuck with your owner.
And you you can't get out of your ownership situation.
Yeah.
So
unless the Saudis buy the Cowboys for $5 billion.
Look, man, at this point, I might even welcome that. Because I mean, this is a Jones problem. This has been their MO since day one. I mean, since they let go of Landry, right?
Oh, boy.
It's like, let's just get rid of good talent and bring in the guys that we think, and they feel like they're the greatest talent evaluators on the planet. Look, this is not bright and shiny for the future of the Dallas Cowboys.
No. At this point, the best hope for a Cowboys fan is to be surprised pleasantly.
Yeah.
So they have a couple things going for them. One, no team in the NFC East has repeated as divisional champions for like 20 years.
Okay.
So it's not going to be the Eagles next year if past performance is any indication.
Interesting.
So I don't think it's going to be the Commanders.
No.
I think they have issues. Do the Giants fix what was wrong with them and leap over the Cowboys, or is it the Cowboys next year winning at 9-8 and getting knocked out in the wild card round again?
There's a lot.
It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it really is.
Second verse, same as the first.
There's a lot of talk out there about a potential Aaron Rodgers for Dak trade.
Who?
Their salary cap numbers are really close. I think the Cowboys would have to include something in that deal. And then I read a little bit further. Do you realize that Aaron Rodgers is under contract until he's 43?
Yeah.
Like, no thanks. I'm interested in an Aaron Rodgers for Dak swap for like a year or two, but not for 4.
Yeah, talk about a player that held his club hostage for a really sweetheart deal.
Well, did you hear his latest on Pat McAfee show?
Okay.
He said, any other team, I could win MVP of the league. Not, I can win a Super Bowl. I can lead a franchise to past glory.
All about
future
himself,
glory.
huh?
I can win the MVP.
Look, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers take Dak's place again for 2 years. But there's no way I'm paying him till he's 43. Not interested.
That's pretty bad.
Dak is a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's
You
really,
want to root for him.
yes,
you want to
it's-
root for him.
It is hard.
He is incredibly professional.
He is.
He says all the right things, even when the Dallas Twitter feed throws him some shade. I am utterly gobsmacked that tweet is still up there, and they haven't. I mean, how is that tweet still up there? How does that tweet get out there, and then how is that tweet still up there?
Because I think Jerry Jones runs the Twitter account, and he's not going to say the reason we lost is because I make bad decisions.
For those of y'all who don't know what the tweet was, the actual Dallas Cowboy Twitter put out this statement. Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in the narrow loss to the 49ers in a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds.
With a picture of Dak Prescott on the bench with his head in his hands.
I mean, for real. This is, look, that's an indictment. And look, I understand that Dak is probably angrier than he's letting on.
I definitely think he is. He's an incredible professional. He won't say what he's really thinking. So we had to go out and go to Ireland, and we hired an anger translator for Dak.
Oh, this, really?
Yeah.
Let's listen to it.
Dak, how do you feel about the performance of you and the team after what is really a hard loss for you guys?
Guys that do things the right way, prepare the right way, believe in each other, a lot of love.
Oh, Jesus. I don't have any fucking love for the ones who can't seem to understand the rules of the game. I learned. I know you have to hand the ball off to a referee. Come on, you gobshites. Go forward before running out of bounds. You have to get both feet in bounds. I know you white and you can't dance, but dude, get that fucking right foot in.
Dak, do you feel you were up to the challenge that the 49ers defense was going to give you?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to play better than I did tonight. Simple as that. Take one from the other or think about that, but all I can think about is right now in this game and how disappointed it is, how disappointed I am in my play, how disappointed I am for the guys in the locker room who played their asses off, and we weren't able to get it done.
I see you, Micah Parsons. I know you calling me out. Yeah, I sucked. You want to be real? Get fucking real about not calling a timeout and running off 30 seconds before the punt.
Dak, Pollard going down had a huge impact. We all saw it. How did that affect you and the rest of that offense?
Yeah, that hurt. Just a guy that brings so much to our offense, brings so much to our team, his energy.
Oh, yeah. I saw him go down and was like, oh, shite, we dead now. That hurt all right. We all know Kellen ain't calling no explosive plays and needed his Pollard whoopee. I knew he was faked.
Dak, do you think you were prepared for what you had to face tonight? Specifically clock management and hurry up in the last 3 minutes of the game?
1,000%. 1,000%. When you prepare the way we do, and you put in all the work that we have and time that we have, especially for those situations, up until even the last play when we're getting in our pitch it around mode, you've got hope.
We put no time into that bullshit play. I saw it come in and it was some playground bullshit. Sorry, Zeke, my man. You got pancaked. But that shit was funny. And that play was whack. Oh, you guys saw that shite. What the fuck is Kellen doing?
Dak, given this loss, do you think you have the pieces to make another deeper run next year?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that we'll be back in this position. It's just about winning. What we've done as an organization and taking a step, and yeah, I mean, it all sucks right now. It all sucks. Don't get me wrong, but
we gonna run this shit right back and hope? Fucking hope ain't no strategy. We need a change. I got my money. I got my contract. You ain't moving on for me, bitches. Who else you gonna bring in? Fucking Ron Rodgers? That ain't fucking happening. You stuck with me.
Dak, how do you feel about your own performance? Was that up to your own personal standards?
Yeah, just disappointed. As I said, I mean, guys that played their asses off, defense who gave us an opportunity to win this game, who played hard against a really, really good offense, a really good team, and for us to only put up the points that we did, that's unacceptable. And it starts with me, and I've got to be better. I mean, that's no other way to sugarcoat it.
How many times you gonna get me to say I sucked? You fucking go out there and face down Nick Bosa. That boy's a gangster, straight up death. You face him every play and tell me how many picks you throwing.
Yeah, I mean, put it on my shoulders. When you play this position, when you play for this organization, you've got to accept that, and that's the reality of it. And as I said, it'll make me better. It sucks that, as I said, I don't get another shot at it for a long time. But
Oh, yeah. How many times? How many ways you going to ask the same bullshit question about how I feel, bitch? You just sitting there crucifying me like some Judas. You only waited 3 days for his ass to come out. You got to wait 6 months for mine. And thank you for the wall-to-wall coverage about my future, bitches. I said, I ain't going nowhere. You think you're getting Brady? You got me. Live with it.
There's so much truth to that. Look,
There's a lot of anger there.
he handles himself so well, but you know what he's really thinking.
I mean, I think it's unfair for any athlete to get up to do a press conference after a loss like that, or any loss, because the reporters are going to ask the same bloody question about,
But he's so professional.
how are you feeling?
Pretty good.
How'd you do out there? How you feeling? You feeling okay? You know, Dak, you really didn't play all that well.
Yeah. He handles himself just right. I think the anger interpreter is really necessary.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the last play real quick?
Boy.
That was comedy gold.
No, it
It was great. The game was over. Nothing good was going to happen. The band wasn't going to run on the field, okay? The game was... Watching Ezekiel Elliott get knocked into the stratosphere.
and then they throw it to a special teamer that has had maybe
Turpin.
3 offensive plays the entire year, but he couldn't figure out that he should probably get behind his blockers and not line up in the middle of the field wide open, and then he gets crucified.
Oh, and I thought the 49ers defensive backs were like, yeah, we ain't playing any of this pitchy woo-woo shit. We're tackling the first guy. We're tackling
And they
him
nailed
hard.
it. They nailed it. They
And they
hit him
nailed it.
before he could even hit the ground.
But for the play to work, he has to be behind his lineman.
Sort of necessary.
Yeah.
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 It was just a complete atrocity. That entire final drive
It was
really embarrassing to the Cowboys organization.
and it's the same shit they did last year.
It is.
I
It's
mean,
very similar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You talk about trying to run it differently and getting a different result and all that. If that's the Chiefs, if that's the Bengals, if that's the Eagles, if that's even the 49ers, and you got 4 minutes to go and you got to go the length of the field, are you feeling pretty confident that something's going to happen for you? As a Cowboy fan, were you pretty confident that
Not
was
at
going to
all.
happen for
Not
you?
even a little bit. Look, it started with McCarthy screwing up the clock management thing, not using a timeout before the punt.
Have we
okay?
seen that before?
Like multiple times.
Okay.
He's bad at clock management. Now, ultimately, the 49ers did get a first down, but that's not how you roll the dice. You have to roll the dice that you're stopping the clock once before the punt, which is going to take a while, once for the 2-minute warning.
This
And
is how pathetic they are. Our TVs are about 10 seconds off.
right.
You're
Yours and mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're 10 seconds ahead of me. So by the time I respond to you 10 seconds, they're still not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You're like, time out. And then I see it on my TV and I'm like, yeah, time out. And then real game clock, it's running
Yes.
the whole time.
Yes.
And it's still not happening.
Okay, back to that drive. There was, I was wondering if Dak Prescott had been concussed. And look, he only got sacked once in the game. But what in the flying F was that rollout to the right in his own end zone,
Oh, that should have been a safety.
where he literally just goes chest to chest with a defensive end and somehow narrowly avoids a safety?
I think the defensive end was even like, what the
Yes.
fuck are you doing, bro?
He didn't tackle him because he thought no way could Dak actually have the football and run into my chest in the
Right.
end zone.
He's thinking there's got to be a flag or something.
Yes.
Because what the fuck is this guy
Why
doing?
would he be running into me a yard deep in the end zone?
And here's the pathetic thing. I think that ending would have felt better than the play they ran at the last play.
Well,
You're right.
It was a sequence of 3 plays that really show that you have problems in that coaching staff. The first play was the guy who got tackled and pushed backwards before he went out of bounds.
Schultz.
Yeah, and the announcers picked it up. He's like, giving kudos to the defensive player. You know the rules. You know if you're going backwards and you're out of bounds, clock still runs.
Yes.
Which means your offensive player should have known the effing rules.
Yeah, he has to get turned upfield before he goes out of bounds. I mean, everybody knows that.
And then lackadaisical, I'm not even going to drag a foot to get inbounds.
2 stupid plays from Schultz. 1 completely moronic play from Dak in the end zone. And then maybe the worst last-second play call of all time.
Ever.
I'm pretty sure Dak, or rather Ezekiel Elliott, is still flying like through the galaxies, like the meme of that kid who's like on the spinny thing at the playground and gets then let's go.
It just flies up. Like,
How is there not a meme of Elliott? Holy cow! I've never seen a guy that big get hit that hard and go flying backwards.
And the announcers felt like little kids on Christmas morning as
They
that play
did.
was lined up. They're like, yeah, they just announced that Zeke Elliott is an ineligible receiver.
Oh, this is so exciting!
But he can still get a lateral.
Oh, this is so great! And instead, he just gets face planted. Like, okay, what a way! And I really do think that's the last down for Ezekiel Elliott as a Cowboy. What a way for his career to end as a Cowboy! Just a big old FU from the offensive coordinator. We're going to have you be a sinner on this down, and you're going to get trucked.
He snapped the ball well.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a beautiful
That
snap.
was the best part of the play.
It was a beautiful snap. And I was really watching the snap. I was like, he's going to fuck the snap up.
Yeah.
No, but everything else is fucked
Well,
up.
Ezekiel Elliott says he's open to taking a pay cut. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you mean you'll play for free? Because we seriously have to evaluate even you on the roster for that amount. He's not good.
I mean, there's so many points in the game that we haven't even touched on that were just garbage. Everybody's oohing and awing about the catch that Kittle made. If Diggs wasn't such a puss,
he would have knocked his block off.
Oh, I was expecting Kittle to get killed.
yeah, and that play is nothing because not even knocked his block off. Because I can see how you're like, oh, you can't go helmet to helmet there like
Sure.
you could 10 years ago. If he would have put his arm on his chest,
Anywhere on his body.
like
He's not making the catch.
because it took him 2.7 seconds to catch that ball.
Yes.
And they're acting like it was the most athletic thing they've ever seen. Bullshit. It looked like a drunk sailor falling down the stairs. And by the luck of Jesus, he caught his keys.
But the best part of that play was afterwards in the huddle as Kittle realizes, there's
when
the
he-
sky cam.
And he does this little face.
How
I like him.
entertaining is that guy?
He's going to be a great professional wrestler.
He needs his own show. Yeah, professional wrestling.
He'll be
yeah.
a great professional
And you
wrestler.
might be right, because he was maybe the most fun part of the game.
You know what Ava said?
What did she say?
That dude's creepy and he needs to brush his teeth. Fair enough.
That's good analysis, young lady.
Fair enough.
Okay, playing this forward. I don't think Zeke comes back.
Oh, the list of free agents. Oh,
Yeah, pull that up.
It's
Okay,
horrendous.
so just us guys get to play Cowboys GM,
Okay.
assuming the Cowboys GM has any power. So we're Jerry Jones today, and let's look at the offense. And I can run them all through, or we can say keep them or dump them.
Just
Okay.
keep him or dump him. Yeah,
Offense, QB, Cooper Rush,
keep him.
abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, but he's going to be gone. There's no way.
Someone's gonna pay him.
Yeah, and we don't have the money to spend on him. Our best chance at replacing Dak Prescott, and I'm sort of bearing the lead here, but is to draft a quarterback in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round of this upcoming draft. That's how we got Dak in the first place, mind you.
Right.
He was a 4th round draft pick, and that's our best bet for getting better quickly.
And as currently constituted, they are $4 million over the salary cap.
Right. Not one of the worst teams, by the way.
No.
But not one of the best teams.
No.
All right, and I think this is our most important player, running back Tony Pollard.
I think you have to sign him. I mean, luckily, I think these breaks of bones heal much more easily than, say, a soft tissue or
He has
an ankle
both,
sprain.
by the way,
Oh, he does? I
He-
thought he just broke his fibula
and he
or fibia.
Fibula.
highly pulled a ligament where they did surgery on it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
Oh, then
they call it like the bungee surgery.
look, this may be the best thing that ever happened to the Cowboys is Tim getting hurt in terms of signing him
trying to
because his value went down.
right.
Right? Like
Right.
they won't have to pay him like they paid Zeke. And mind you, he's going to walk into that meeting saying, well, you've been paying Zeke $15 million a year. I want that kind of money too. And the Joneses are
And
going to be able to say, yeah, but you just messed up your leg real bad. So here's $6 million.
How many yards Elliott outrush Pollard. Pollard only playing half the game.
Did he?
Yes,
Okay, by how much?
4,
4 yards.
26-22.
Unreal.
Oh my! It gets more depressing as the days.
It
go
does.
by.
This is why the future is so bleak for the Cowboys.
Okay, this one's kind of whatever. Rico Dottle. God bless him. See you later. Tight end Dalton Schultz. See you later.
I think you want to keep him,
No,
but it's can you pay him?
no.
You don't
Just
want to keep him.
What he did the last drive signals to me that A, he's not disciplined to be on a good team, or B, he doesn't give a fuck. And A and B are both bad answers.
Their backup is, to him is pretty good.
The kid from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name right this second. It sounds-
Ferguson.
Is that it?
Ferguson. And then they got Hendershot that got hurt. And he's a moron, but he's good.
Continue.
So let him go. Poor T.Y. Hilton. I'd love to keep him, but he's like, what a clown show.
Well, if you're not going to use him,
Yeah. Okay, Noah Brown, who got used a ton, and he's not a bad little player.
Nope, he's pretty good. I think they keep him.
But what do they pay him?
This is where the rubber meets the road, right? Is they don't have a whole lot of money to keep and pay all of these guys. You're going to have to make tough decisions. Noah
Yep.
Brown's probably one of those guys that you want to keep, but I don't think they're going to have the money to do it.
Nope. Left tackle Terrence Steele.
Want to keep him?
I think you got to keep him.
Do you have the money? I mean, what's he going to ask for?
Well, I mean,
10 million?
there's hurts and there's not exactly. Like,
Yeah.
ask for anything you want, but you were a seventh round pick out of Texas Tech.
Jason Peters.
See you later. Nice
He's
guy.
got to go.
Connor McGovern.
Don't know him. He can't be that good.
He played a ton,
Did he?
unfortunately. Yeah, at left guard when they moved the rookie over to left tackle. Okay, and then Alec Lindstrom, center, whatever. All right, here we go. Defense. This is interesting. Van Der Esch, the
Gotta
Wolf
pay him.
Hunter.
Got to pay him.
I think you do. Anthony Barr, linebacker.
Take him or leave him.
Luke Gifford,
Same.
Anthony Brown. I hope he goes.
Really?
Yes. Even when he's healthy, I mean, he does things like Dak.
Okay.
CJ Goodwin, more special teams. Trevon Mullen, don't know who it is. Dante Fowler, who in the beginning of the year looked promising and couldn't get on the field at the end of the year. Big boy Jonathan Hawkins, we brought in mid-year. I wouldn't mind keeping him. How much is it going to cost? Defensive tackle Carlos Watkins, who actually played out of his mind in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Wilson, number 6, one of the only guys on the defense that hits people. And
He's a keeper.
Wanye Thomas, don't even know who
Don't
that
know
is.
who that is.
Okay, this is fun. Special teams. Kicker, Brett Mahia.
Adios.
Yup.
Sayonara.
2 long snappers. Are we the only team in history that carries 2 long snappers?
We might have to be.
really?
Because that makes a ton of sense. And then
That's good roster.
if we can't even kick it, what good's a long snapper?
Fair point.
Well, keep Elliott.
As a long snapper, there
He's
you go.
good. He's a real utility guy.
Sign him as a long snapper.
He's that gap wedge.
The
I mean-
future is not bright. I mean, as you've been saying all day, running it back with these same guys, number one, isn't really a possibility because the cap is changing and because you have so many free agents. And even if you do run it back with the same guys, this group has really proven to have a ceiling that just isn't high enough.
As a Cowboys fan, are you hoping that Quinn and Moore get picked up by other teams?
I'm hoping Moore does,
Not Quinn.
but I think Quinn's going to be a head coach by the end of business hours today.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
So then it's like we're fucked. We have to be positively surprised, and I just don't see it happening.
I mean,
If you're gonna tell me, let's in August when we're getting ready for the regular season, and you're laughing at us because of what happened with the San Francisco 49ers, and we're lying to ourselves thinking we're gonna do something different. We do this and we crap out just like last year, but this year was even worse because I think we had better talent this year than
Mhm.
we did last year.
Mhm.
And so now you're going to say, okay, playing it back, you're going to do the same shit, but here's who you are losing. Dan Quinn. Well, fuck.
Uh-oh.
Kellen Moore. Don't think he's that great
What if you don't replace Schultz? I mean, Schultz was good this year for him.
until it mattered.
Yeah, but Look, they did get there, right?
And here's
if
the
you
thing.
don't replace him well, you're in trouble.
They've got 2 guys.
They have to have weapons for Dak. Okay, you and I talked about this before the show.
But that's killing me because he can't hit an open fucking receiver.
This is a big problem for him.
That's a real big problem. He's got a football field in his backyard. Get some of the kids from Coppell High School out there, run routes under 20 yards. They're going to be open because no one's guarding them. See if he can hit them in stride.
He's
And
not
he
exaggerating.
He hasn't done that in 2 years. Hit an open receiver in stride.
But I don't think it's a physical thing. I really don't.
So he needs a quarterback whisperer?
I think he needs a therapist.
I just don't think he has that kind of talent. Honestly, I went back. This is one of those things I dorked out on. I went back and I watched all 37 throws of Dak's. Okay, there's a compilation, and I watched all 36 throws of Joe Burrow. Do you know the difference between these two? It's what Richard just said. It's hitting the guy who is open in the spot where he can continue forward.
Yeah.
How many times in this game did Dak have 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6, and he hits a receiver or a running back, but it's 2 feet behind him?
What about the pass he threw to Gallup where Gallup was going to score?
The deep throw down the middle? No, that was to CeeDee Lamb, right?
That was to CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Okay.
The deep throw down the middle to CeeDee Lamb.
While T.Y. Hilton is open
Wide
just
open.
a little bit to the left.
These are open guys. Honest to God, as I watched these two
He
films,
can't hit a receiver on a blown coverage.
it seems that way. The difference in openness between Bengals wide receivers and Cowboys wide receivers, looking at the 2 tapes, it's not much.
Okay.
It's not much.
You're comparing what I would consider to be an elite level quarterback. He is, if not the best, one of the two best quarterbacks in the NFL today.
Sure he is.
He's that dude.
To Dak Prescott, who is an average quarterback.
But that's the difference between goodness and greatness. And you can't pay goodness $40 million and expect to have enough money to spend everywhere else.
That is the problem.
That's why this game was on the Joneses.
But yeah, I mean, I think it is, but you can't get rid of him. You got to get him better coaching, better therapy, get him out of his head.
No, you gotta
and
and
realize
I don't wish ill will upon anybody, but you gotta hope that Jera gets dementia and he forgets where he is. And they hire somebody. Like, you're supposed to hire people to run your team, coaches and GMs. Well, who's the GM? Well, it's his son.
Yeah, Steven.
And even if he is better and has original thoughts, it doesn't matter.
And
because
maybe
all the checks are signed at the bottom by Jerry Jones.
And maybe that's the one hope, that Jerry Jones is looking at the Crypt Keeper and he's realizing I'm not that far away from a casket.
Well, here's
and we need to do something now.
Getting ready for this game, I was excited, fell into it. Jeff, you've been talking about playoff football, how exciting it is. I realized, because they kept talking about how about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
Like, they killed that story.
27 years ago.
Don't want to hear that. Yeah, we were seniors in high school the last time they won that game.
I know.
Seniors in high school.
I know. Forever ago.
Yeah.
And the one person I want to call out in the media is Stephen A. Smith.
Fuck that guy.
You are taking way too much pleasure from people's pain in the moment.
Yeah.
How about real quick mention of on YouTube and Twitter and all this stuff, the Cowboys fans exploding their TVs?
Oh, my God. That's awesome. I really love it. That's good comedy. Everybody just throwing them out there, running them over with their trucks.
Yeah.
It's the full gamut.
Yeah.
Throwing them off the
full
third
punch.
story. Yes.
He puts it under the rear wheels of his truck and he shoots it into his garage.
Yeah. And his wife is like, what the fuck?
Shannon Sharp said something interesting as we wrap this segment.
Was it before he tried to fight
Yeah.
the
Brooks.
whole team?
Yeah, and the Memphis
Grizzly
Grizzlies.
team?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
That was kind of awesome.
It was, but I mean, place and time? I don't know.
I don't know. I agree. You can just apparently get away with that stuff if you're a retired player.
I guarantee
Because
you.
they let him back in the game. It's not like they kicked him out of his seats.
Me and you would not
No.
be invited back.
Mm-mm. But Shannon Sharp called the Dallas Cowboys the hope team. You go into every week hoping that you get a good performance out of Dak Prescott.
Right.
The Bengals do not walk into any week hoping that Joe Burrow has a good game. I don't even think Bills fans, even though Josh Allen's coming off a couple bad games in a row, they don't hope he has a good game. They expect that he will, and they're disappointed when he doesn't.
Well, Seamus said it. Hope isn't a strategy.
That's right, he did.
God bless Seamus. Well, here's a fact. Dak's never played 2 good games in a row. So after he played the best game of his career against Tampa Bay, by the way, got into the playoffs with a losing fucking record. So that's like, Jeff and Richie, you guys looked really good playing basketball against those 4th graders.
Yeah.
And then you knew he wasn't going to have a good game against San Francisco. He just didn't need to have a bad game. Well, guess what? He had a bad game. And to be surprised by that, fuck off.
2 bad interceptions. 1, a terrible read. 1, a terrible throw.
And then the
that's
defense.
just
there was
Dak
a
Prescott.
And there was a third one
That
that
should
should
have been picked.
Six.
He should have been the last play of the game. Effectively, should have been a safety in his own end zone.
And there was that too. It's a complete debacle, complete embarrassment, and it's exactly what we deserved as Cowboys fans because that's who they are.
And if
How
Jerry-
about them Cowboys?
And if Jerry, you want to waste $39 million on somebody, I'm ready.
Another episode coming up. We'll see you on the flip side. The Unrestricted. Like and subscribe, please.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. It feel good, don't it? It feel good. It feel good cause you know it's good. Hey.